What is up, guys? Today I come to you yet with another weekly review of All Out. Now, I can't wait for episode 3 because from what we've seen in this episode, just a little bit of this episode, and the fact that basically episode 3 is going to be a practice match from the ending of this episode, we can expect a lot more than just, a little push here and a little shove there. So to start off, Sumiyaki and Gion has officially joined the rugby team. They, among several other first years, are now registered and are on the rugby team, but of course there are some inexperienced players, including Gion himself. Now, the only experienced players amongst the first years is Sumiyaki and another player. It's going to take me some time to remember some other characters' names, but eventually I will remember them as well. So they go off to play with the experienced second years and third years, while Gion is with the other first years who are not yet knowing the basics of what rugby is. So Gion is, he can't wait. He doesn't even want to know what the ball is, how the ball feels, or anything. He wants to go straight into tackling. After episode 1, he wants to go straight into tackling, and Sekizan is having none of that. So he tells Gion, okay, if you can tackle me, then you can train with the rest of us. So Gion goes in for a tackle thinking, okay, I can take this guy out. So what if he's bigger than me? I can take him out. And when he goes in for that tackle, Sekizan just goes and he just bodies him. Like, he goes in for the tackle and he just takes his shoulder and just shoved him, and he's just laying on his back, and he's like, now you're gonna go do a different training, basically. And it's not even like you just hear the sound of that tackle. You felt it. I felt that tackle, and I said, I'm not even there experiencing it firsthand. I'm just viewing it from a third person's point of view, and if you could feel it like that, you can just imagine all the other matches. So Gion is doing this type of training where it's like a turtle-like training where he has to walk on all fours, but his knees cannot touch the ground. And the reason for that training is to learn how to straighten his back. By having the rugby ball, which is the shape of an oval, it's almost like a football, but it doesn't have pointed edges, and it's longer and possibly bigger than a football. But he carries down his back and he does reps back and forth, and it's to help him learn how to straighten his back. Once he learned that, he decided to do a little practice with Sumiyaki, and then he found his way on how to tackle Sekizan, because Sekizan said, if you can manage, I'm going to give you 5 chances in a day to be able to tackle me, and by the time you're able to tackle me, if you can tackle me, you're able to join the rest of us in our training. So when it came to that time where Gion is ready to go and do his 5 times a day tackling towards Sekizan, the first 4 times he's, just like any other time, he's knocked over by Sekizan. But after his practice with Sumiyaki, he found what he needed to do, and that was to aim for Sekizan's legs. Now, it explained in the episode that, like, around the legs area, around the knee area, that's where there's less muscle. So even if you do have a proper stance and you're firm on the ground, your center of gravity can always be knocked from your knees, from your legs down. But actually he went for his ankles, but it still worked, and it knocked Sekizan down. So he was able to knock down Sekizan and is now be able to join the rest of the team for their proper training. Now, they also explained like how in rugby, it seems that they have more players on the field than even that of soccer, because I think soccer has around 11 players on the field. Rugby has 15. And they split them up where 1 to 8 is the big forward and 9 to 15 is the little backs. But the manager never went into more detail with that. So if you do not know rugby like myself, you will not understand what the purpose of these two are, because it's like, okay, it seems simple enough. You're the big forward, you're the little back. Okay, it seems simple. Possibly they're supposed to be the backup and these guys try forward. But if you're someone who is interested in rugby or someone that does play rugby, I would love to hear what do those 2 terms means, and what are the basics of them. If you could get into the technical parts of it, I would love to hear what you guys have to say for that, because it sounds really interesting, and the fact that a lot of us are watching this anime, and there's a lot of us who doesn't understand rugby as in a whole. So for those who do understand it, I would love to hear your opinions on what they're doing right from wrong in this anime, and also certain terms that they are using, what do they mean. So they're going to have a practice match coming next episode against this school that basically beat them multiple times. So I'm guessing in this practice match they're going to lose against them, because it can't be just some miracle that they're going to win against them. These guys beat them multiple times. So who knows if they will beat them. My money is that they're not going to beat them, but they're going to give them like a hard time trying to win. So that's possibly what's going to happen in the next episode. And something that's been on my mind since the first episode is that, and they even announced it in this episode, how they basically don't even have a coach. They have an advisor, and the advisor isn't anywhere shown, and there's no coach. Now, if you look in the opening, there's this old guy that's sitting in the chair, and he's watching as this school and versus the other school are going at it with each other. Now, I'm assuming the old man is going to be their coach, but I'm not too sure. He could become their advisor. It's all left up in the air. But how, I know this is anime, but how do they allow a team to be practically watched over and coached by a high schooler, and there is no coach to, you know, put them into proper training? Suppose they're over exhausting themselves and such, they don't know when to stop or anything. It's something that was on the back of my mind since episode 1 basically, and actually watching the opening multiple times, it made me question that. But nonetheless, it was a pretty good episode. Decent animation and art. The soundtrack was really good. The same composer that did Naruto Shippuden and Fairy Tail is the composer for this series, and it's pretty damn well. He's doing good so far, so I cannot wait for next week's episode with that practice match. And man, that's gonna be a hard match. Like, oh man, I can't wait for next week's episode. I can't wait what's going to happen in that episode. It's probably going to be really brutal come episode 3. So if you guys saw this episode of All Out episode 2, please do drop a comment down below. The links are in the description box as always. And I'm Kimmy Chan of Anime Legends Podcast, and I will see you guys later. Bye!